Yo guys, we are joined by Ryan Michler. He is the founder of the Order of Man movement. Does a lot of stuff like we do. Really good force for good. Don't have as many guns as us.
Not nearly as many guns. Although I told you earlier, I'm not willing to disclose how many I actually have.
But brother, we can fix that. We can. You're armed. He's a gun guy, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. We've got some guns in the safe.
But
definitely.
there's gun guy, and then there's like gun guy.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd say I'm a gun guy, but I'm a gun advocate.
And you're a defender of people, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very good. Well, we're at SHOT Show. It is 2020. We've been looking at all kinds of products, meeting with folks, and inviting you guys along. But we just finished up an hour-long podcast for him. Also, YouTube. I'll provide links down below if you want to check it out. It was a really, really good time. But out of that, we decided to talk about the state of masculinity now compared to all of human history. So, Ryan, what do you think, current man is in comparison to the last few thousand years?
Well, frankly, I think we're pretty weak. We're pretty soft.
You're soft.
You're the exception. There's always an exception. We have to choose to be men in this day and age. Like, we don't have threats. We don't have existential crises that we're worrying about. We don't have things that are going to potentially derail us. The most catastrophic thing we might run into is, potentially getting a little fender bender, or, somebody getting upset, or losing a client potentially. Not catastrophic things. And the shame in that is that we have basically made our environment so soft and so weak that when these other crises actually do come up, whether it's an active shooter situation, emergency, natural disaster, we just don't know how to handle ourselves and take care of the things that need to be taken care of. And I've seen grown men crumble at the slightest sign of adversity because they don't place themselves under any sort of voluntary hardship. And the more that you can place yourself in that voluntary hardship, the more I think you inoculate yourself against the crises that will eventually and inevitably come up.
We've been fighting to survive for thousands of years, battling woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, and now our biggest thing is like,
my internet's not working.
Come on, this is horse crap.
It's true. It's true, and it's a good thing though. We have these first world problems, and that's what you talk about, battling inhumanity for thousands of years. This is what we've worked towards. We're at the pinnacle, frankly, of human achievement with medical advancements and technology and relative safety, and more people out of poverty than ever have been, and access to medical life-saving technology and things like that. We've been working towards and for this, but the threat that comes with that is that we've made it so easy on ourselves that when things come up, we don't know how to handle it.
Order of Man, your movement, check it out, by the way, guys. I mean, you are really honing in on masculinity, issues in masculinity, making us tougher, but also making us well-rounded, right?
Definitely.
What does it mean to be a man? And don't just say John Lovell.
Well, I don't know what to say outside of that. That's the only answer I had.
All my crew on there
you basically stole what I was going to say.
All my crew knows me well enough. They're rolling their eyes, being like, boring. That's a classic John Joe. What's it mean to be a man?
We've talked a little bit about this, you and I, because we spent some time together this afternoon, and I like what you say. I mean, our thoughts echo very perfectly. It's that of a protector, a presider, and a provider. I think we as men are uniquely, not exclusively, but uniquely qualified to lead well, to protect, to provide, to go out into the workforce and do our thing. And ultimately, when shit hits the fan and things go wrong, it's that the people are looking to the men to solve those problems. And if we can't make ourselves capable of solving those problems, then frankly, we aren't acting in accordance with our masculine virtues and potential.
That's good. And it seems like in times of peace, where we aren't threatened by a world war or something, it's like we are crushing the man who is, and pushing him down, and really sissifying and effeminizing as something too dangerous. But when it's time for dangerous, we're like, all right, get dangerous again. Get dangerous again. Come on.
Well, that's the luxury of modernity, right? Is that we can be criticized. Those warriors, if you will, can be criticized by those who they're protecting. So we've enabled all of us to have the rights that we enjoy, and through the rights that they enjoy, they criticize and mock how those people provided those rights in the first place.
I'm thinking about A Few Good Men.
Well, I talked about somebody earlier. Yeah, you got to have men on the wall, right?
Yeah. Do you remember the quote?
I wish I could because it was so good,
Like,
but I wouldn't do it justice.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it the
But
justice.
Jack
Maybe we can
Nicholson's
roll the clip
talking
right
about
now.
that, where he's talking about in the movie. He says you don't have any right to criticize or mock the way that we do it while you're living under the luxury of the thing that we afforded you.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and of course, that's paraphrasing, but he says it way better than I said it.
Well, yeah, and we're glad to protect their right to protest us and hate us
Of
and
course.
whatnot, but ultimately I refuse to trade in the protection element that I believe that I am built for and tasked with. I am a protector. I am a provider, and I'm not going to shirk my God-given responsibility because a bunch of effeminate would-be men are threatened by it. I also don't want to swing a pendulum all the way over into some cheap version of machismo kind of thing, macho, whatever, at the expense of being, kind and compassionate and
Sure.
romantic and
Sure.
a good dad and, that those vulnerable type pieces. It's warrior and poet. Sorry, not to tag my own brand, but we're doing much the same thing with Order
Absolutely.
of Man, so it's good to be able to.
It is great to be
have
connected.
you on.
It's always good to find somebody who's in alignment with what you think, might say it a different way, or expose you to some information that you hadn't considered before, or a way that you hadn't considered it. There you go, a cart just for you.
Very fair.
But yeah, that's why I think this conversation was inevitable, because there's guys like you and me and other people, of course, who are really tied into the idea of reclaiming, recovering masculinity from a society that is increasingly dismissive and mocking of it.
You said something earlier that you have to
Choose to be a man.
Choose to be a man.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, look, I mean, people ask me that all the time. What does it mean to be a man? Obviously, you've got to be a man, a male, right?
Yeah,
So
you answered
that's
that.
a
but how do you-
prerequisite.
Yeah, but you said choose to be. Today, in today's age, you have to choose, as if you have to fight to be man. You have to look for the ability to be a man.
Yes, you have to make that conscious choice, because you don't need to be a protector, provider, and presider in a lot of ways, because a lot of people are going to rescue you. There's organizations that are established to make sure there's no consequences
We gotta
of
see
your
this, too.
actions. We do have to see this. There was
Oh,
did you see the little mini tank over
But
there?
I want you to tell me this at the other end of
Yes.
a automatic grenade launcher.
That you
Now,
have to choose to be a man.
Choose to be a man.
By the way, this has nothing to do with being a man, but it makes you look way cooler while you're doing it.
It is the grenade machine.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what do you do with something like this? It was here. I saw it.
Well-
40 Mike is my jam, and so.
Have you shot one before?
Yeah, man. Of course.
It's-
Not this model. The
it's-
Mark 19's an old hat for me.
That's right. It's incredible.
These are super fun.
such an incredible
There's,
piece of
there's
machinery.
a delay. You're just, and then
and you can
crank
feel
off
it all the way through your body.
Yeah, but you can. But then you wait, and then it's like, boom, boom, and you just kind of light up the horizon. That's a little bit more dramatic than it actually is. But you were saying.
I don't know what I was saying. I'm looking at this now. You
I'm
got me
so sorry.
distracted.
I
No, you have to
didn't
choose to be a
distract
man.
you.
Look,
This was
this
here.
distracted you.
Just pet it while you tell me. How do you choose to be a man in today's age? Because we're inundated by entertainment everywhere. The
Yes.
world, no one's trying to kill me
Right.
right now. And,
Right.
we can live in these artificial, climatized bubbles where the world doesn't really appreciate bold, daring, dangerous masculinity.
Well, they
So-
don't appreciate it when things are easy, but they do appreciate it when shit hits the fan.
Right.
And they're the first people to call first responders, LEOs, military members, and basically just the men, the real men in their community. They certainly appreciate it then. It's the
Right.
luxury of not having to need it. But in order to choose to be a man, you have to place yourself under strain.
That's good.
You have to do difficult things physically, mentally, emotionally. You have to find things that are going to exert you, that are going to make you feel uncomfortable. You have to be willing to be a beginner a lot of times. And men don't want to do that because it threatens our ego. But you've got to put yourself in new environments that push you, that test you, that drive you to do something more than you've ever done in the past. and nobody's going to hold you to task on that.
Yeah.
Most people are going to say it's perfectly acceptable to play video games in mom and dad's basement until you're 40 years old. Well, it isn't. I'm telling you, it isn't.
Yeah.
You need to go out there, exert yourself, put yourself under voluntary hardship, and become the man that you're meant to be.
Ryan's rocking a sweet black eye. Can we get in on this? Look at this junk right there.
Got a
Close
little bit of a shiner there.
It could have been better, but it's a good one.
It was better.
I'd like it to
was
be
better.
just a full raccoon
I was
eye right
thinking about doing some makeup, but please don't do
Yeah,
that.
that would have been better. But anyway, you're doing the jiu-jitsu thing
Yeah,
now.
I started doing that I started last year, but I've really been going for about 7 months now. And man, it's tough. You know, you get home at the end of the night after a long training session, and it's difficult, it's challenging, and it taxes you physically and mentally, but that's what we need. I'm a better man because I put myself in those situations, and I'm more capable of dealing with the things that are going to come up throughout life.
Yeah. Very good. Well, cool.
And I think this is my next purchase. I don't know what the price tag is on this thing,
pretty
but
sure
I'm sure it's reasonable.
These are on Amazon Prime.
That's right.
Man, get
2
it
days
right
shipping.
now. Link down below for this gun. They're like $29.99. They're like $30. $30. You can afford
cheap.
$30 for
Anybody
the
can get
automatic
one of
grenade
these.
launcher. So, just go ahead and do that. Got an affiliate code for you. Use code MorePoet. Anyway, this is really denigrated. I'm sorry, you've been saying great things and I've been ridiculous. Guys, Ryan Michler, Order of Man, good dude, good movement to follow. Thanks so much for answering questions and hanging out with us.
Appreciate it, man. What a great opportunity. We're in this battle. We need more of us in it, so glad to know we're banded.
Very good. Well, train hard, train smart. We'll see you next time, guys.
I'm forgetting to breathe. How did I get this stain? I want to keep this. Speaking to the mic. All right, Evan Temple here with Warrior Poet Society. Hope you're doing well. If you like that video, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe. We're on the road to 1 million subscribers. We're at like 575,000 right now. Click the subscribe button and go ahead and fill in the bell. If you do the unfilled bell, you're not gonna get any notifications. We're on Instagram at Warrior Poet Society. We're on Facebook at Warrior Poet Society. And we're on Patreon at Warrior Poet Society. If you've ever wondered how you get into class, well, it's pretty much the only way. Also, Centaura Capital. If you want your portfolio managed, they're our new sponsor and they're fantastic. My portfolio is with them. John's portfolio is with them. And if you're looking to find out where the new Warrior Poet Society pistol, the War Poet, is, it's at sportsmansguide.com. Use code WARPOET for all those savings, as you know. If you can also get this hat. They're super warm in the winter.